Here it is for you guys. Enjoy.
Welcome to We. Insert any thunder and lightning sound effects that they did for the last 2 weeks right here.
Which is none.
Yeah. If you remember me, my name is Shooter. We've got the Stash. We've got Thomas Schooley, and we've got one more rectangle on the screen. You might know him from Lightning games, the 2023 Winter Classic, the 2023 All-Star Game, the 2023 Stadium Series, the 2023 Frozen Four, and soon
and 2023 radio
Stanley Cup playoffs starting soon at an arena near you if you're located in Tampa Bay. Greg Wolf, welcome back to We the Thunder.
Thank you for having me, boys. I don't even know how many times this has been now, but I feel like I'm a veteran of this show, of this program. So thank you guys again for having me on, obviously right before playoff time. So it's a better time than ever right now. This is it.
The most wonderful time of the year.
Yes, it is. It really is. This is the best time of year for sure.
Well, not exactly to some Lightning fans because we've dropped 3 straight games, and it seems like people are just trying to keep it together to get to the playoffs.
We have to remind them we're so spoiled. I mean, we are so effing spoiled as hockey fans when we lose our shit, when we lose a couple games in a row. Oh my God, the sky is falling. And then you all of a sudden realize, wait a minute, hold on. A couple games ago, let's rewind a couple games ago, where Vazzy stopped 133 out of 140 shots. They're just blowing everybody out. It's like, have the Lightning hit the switch? Yes. Have we not proven that when the time comes, we know what to do? We know how to flip the switch. Everybody says, you can really just flip a switch? How many times do we have to talk about it? Yes. Regular season means nothing. We are not here, nor have we ever been here for participation trophies. We are
here
up the dial for Lord Stanley. Turn up the dial. Thank you. We are here to do that and that only. We are not here to win a division. Nope. Okay, listen, let's be real. Who has all the pressure on them right now?
Boston and Toronto.
Correct. 100%, especially Boston, because if Boston slips one iota and let's be real, the curse of the President's Trophy is real. The last team that won a cup was what, 2013? It's been over a decade.
2012, 2013 Blackhawks.
That was over a decade ago. So don't tell me that the President's Trophy is not a curse of some sort, because if it wasn't, why has it been over a decade since a team has been successful that has gotten that title? We don't care about raising a banner for the division. We don't care about raising a banner for the President's Trophy. We care about hoisting the cup back at Amalie Arena. That is all that matters. So does this game on Tuesday tomorrow versus Toronto matter? Who cares? They're playing in Florida right now. Does it matter? No. Does it matter on Thursday when we play Detroit? Not for the statistics, but for you, the fans, it matters because it's fan appreciation night. We love you guys, and it's all about you guys on Thursday night. So yes, it matters in that regard. But does it mean anything in the grand scheme of things? No. It means jack-ish. Our focus is going to be on Toronto sometime next week. That's all we need to focus
There's only one thing I care about tomorrow.
That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Greg just laid it out.
Nobody there it is.
There we go.
1,000 celebration. Another celebration for Stammer tomorrow.
I'll be there.
What do we had 1,000 points, 500 goals, 1,000 games. What an awesome season to be a Lightning fan.
No bobbleheads.
Yeah, no bobbleheads.
No. Now the most meaningless bobbleheads from Foco this season.
Yeah.
Not one for Stamkos for his 1,000 points, 1,000 games, 500 goals. None of that. We don't get any of that.
We don't need it, man. We're here for Stanley Cup.
Have you seen my wall?
Stash is a big bobblehead guy.
I need my collectibles.
Let's get Stammer another championship, and then you can have a bobblehead where he's holding 3 cups. And
3 cups, exactly.
There you go.
Let's get 3 cups Stammer. I like that.
I'm with it.
Stammer.
I just want to see the design of that. I mean, does he just
yes. He's got one on his head
behind him.
He's holding them
up to
whatever. Right. We'll make it happen.
No, what I would love to see is a Stamkos, Killorn, Hedman 3-cup bobblehead. Okay, you know what I mean?
Why not?
Would be cool. That would be cool.
No, Stammer and his 2 sons
Yeah.
Each son hold it,
Jason,
Stanley Cup,
yeah.
and Stammer in the middle with it.
Why not?
That would be like a golden cup for Stamkos then, right? You go with the
Because-
golden stick and the golden pucks that he got this year.
Yeah, Stammer will tell you Carter's a bigger celebrity than him. So
Well, clearly.
Way bigger, dude.
Greg
Anytime
Wolf
we
stands
announce
in the
that-
shadow of Carter Stamkos. Let's be
Dude.
honest.
He does the best laugh ever. I don't know if I've ever heard better laugh in a kid than Carter Stamkos.
Is he old enough to get on
are
the
you a
block
dad?
party yet, though?
Are you
I
a dad
mean,
yet? You're not a dad yet, right, Greg? You are?
Yes.
Well, okay. So then you are. So then maybe your own son, but that like even
Daughter.
Still,
Yes.
or daughter.
she's a teen, isn't she?
What's that?
Isn't she a teen or up?
Yes,
Yeah.
teen. Yeah, man.
So
teens.
I've always done my homework on you, Greg. Clearly,
Not today, but that's okay. That's what you're drinking. That's fine. You're forgetting. It's okay.
I was out. Hey, I was doing my job for the show, scouting locations for our playoff watch party. So
Okay. You're gonna
we
be
give
on
him the tough
location.
I'm
jobs.
doing the heavy lifting today.
I can tell. You
Networking
guys, is that what you're doing? You're gonna go on location with the show for
for a
playoff?
game. It looks like
Just-
game one. Yep,
Game one, yeah.
game one live watch party.
Very cool.
Yeah.
By the
Sunday
way,
league
thank you to
games.
Nigel for the shirt. He gave me the shirt the other night at the airport. So thank you, Nigel Kerwin,
He's the best.
for giving. He's awesome.
I'm having lunch with his brother Andre on Wednesday, actually. So that's my
Nice.
dude. They're the
Yeah.
best family. The
Yeah.
Kerwin family's amazing. They really
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, those are good people. Our actually, you see, Monkey Cult Coffee. Matt is the guy that started that company, and he's really good friends with Andre. That's how we got
Yep.
Nigel on the show. Is that he's
Yep.
really good friends with
Andre, Nigel, their sister, their dad. They're just the whole family is amazing. They really are. And actually, the sister's more athletic than the two of them together.
That's what he
It's funny
said.
because we did him on here.
Yeah.
We interviewed him here the same night you.
Phrasing.
Yeah, I know. The same day you had taped the
Oh, block party.
block party.
Yeah.
So
Kinda
we were on there,
sneaky.
and he was like, "Oh, some of these questions I just answered earlier," and we're like, "Did Greg scoop us?" Well, ours is coming out before his. This is pre-tape, so let's get it out there. but
Yeah.
and then the next day he was like, "Did I do okay? Was it boring?" Because he ended up going like 2 hours. Like,
wow.
We went
And-
long that night.
That's all right
with them.
though.
yeah, and I was like, "No, everybody loved it."
Yeah, he's the best.
I'm going to tell you right now, the best podcast in Tampa Bay is Block Party. 100%.
I
We're
appreciate
we're literally just doing our best to do the fan version of what you do.
Listen,
So-
kudos to Seth because obviously, actually we can go all the way back to Dan Girardi, with the block party with Dan Girardi, and then, the evolution of the block party. It's ebbed and flowed over the last 4 years. And major props and kudos to Seth because it wouldn't be where it's at today without Seth. And obviously he took it through weird times through COVID and then having to do a lot of these kind of interactions with the podcast as opposed to, in person. And so
like you get to do.
yeah. So I've been always wanting more opportunities, to be honest with you guys, to be in a more interactive level with the players. Obviously on game nights, I'm in the stands, they're on the ice. There's no way that's going to really happen. So there's not a whole lot of interaction for me with those guys off the ice, except for when we have, team events, like when we did Killers and McDonough's Can Jam and like Bolt's Family Carnival and stuff like that, which again is far and few between. So there's not been a whole lot of interaction, but in the last, I would say 2 years, there's been more of that. So when this opportunity arose, I was super excited because I'm like, I've been waiting for more of these opportunities to kind of get to know the guys on a more personal level. And, I've embraced the opportunity. I didn't really know how the dynamic with Kobe was going to work. Because again, we're two different individuals, but Kobe he's amazing, man. He is a student and
Dude.
literally like he's going to school right now for business, and he's studying and he's taking classes and he's so eager to learn and get better and perfect his craft. And, he was doing the Women's Professional Hockey League play by play when I was in the booth and I looked across and I'm like, is that Kobe across? And he was literally calling professional women's hockey games. And, obviously he fills in on the Bolts radio broadcast if Phil can't do stuff. And so he's learning. And again, it's just a demonstration to how he wants to grow and develop as a broadcaster, as whether he becomes an analyst or, he's obviously chopping it up now with Boiler and Callie, and he's got perfect guys to kind of bounce things off of. So again, at the beginning though, I didn't know that part about him. So it's like, well, now you're going to be doing this show with Kobe, how's that dynamic going to work? Because I have a different personality than he does, but it's been now, I don't even know how many episodes we've done, probably close to 20 already, which is crazy to think it's been that already. But the dynamic it's there now. Like he brings so much to the table from the player perspective that I can never relate to the things that you guys have experienced and gone through. And I have questions straight from being a fan and working with the team for the last 16 seasons and seeing all sorts of everything, ups and downs and all that stuff. So the dynamic really is starting to work really well together. And I think the feedback we've been getting has been great. I'm loving it, man. It's been a great season so far to kind of learn. It's been a learning process for me as well. But as we go, I think things are getting better for sure.
And he says the same about you, because when you guys went to Brandon to do the Icymont block party, we were there for the practice. Me and some other fans were there for the practice, and he came out and talked to us afterwards. And we talked to him about calling that women's game. It was just fresh off of that women's game. Yeah. And he said he loved doing it. And then he really would love to go on these road trips, just it's not in the budget.
Right.
So that's the only reason. A lot of people are like, well, why aren't you doing it anymore? And he's just like, you need to ask radio, right?
You need a bigger budget.
Right.
You need a bigger budget.
I mean, at the end of the day, right? You're not going to want to go do that stuff for free. He's a professional at the end of the day. You got to pay the guy.
We're at the point right now with this show that we're doing our best to not do it for free. I mean, we've done it for free for a long time, but now you guys have built involved. Exactly. We
equity.
do so much before.
But then
people don't see outside of the show. Like today, I mean, I go to scout out places. I'm always out there networking with people to build the brand. I got accused of big timing over the weekend, but I get free tickets, but I still pay my money when I get into the stadium. I'm buying hats. When Hagel got a hat trick, I went and bought 3 hats that night.
Right.
I support that team. I don't go there and not spend money. Sure. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'm getting.
That's not what I heard about you, Stash.
I'm getting invited.
You're no Coburn. Let's just leave it at that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like to talk about my bowel movements in public. Okay. No, I'm no Coburn. I don't invite people to talk about their medical procedures just so I can talk about my own poop. No, I am not Coburn. Okay.
I will say
Kobe, real quick.
Did you forget this episode?
Kobe did say.
No, I didn't
forget
that episode. The Cologne
How could you ever
episode
forget that
was
episode?
Too much.
But Kobe did say he really enjoys doing this with you, and that it really makes it that much funner because of it has the fan aspect of it. And then he gets to tell like a good story with the Nick Paul and when he was with Ottawa. Awesome. So, so he gets to say that side and you get the fans. And he said, it's just a great yin and yang. So he talks the same about you as you do him.
That's awesome.
So just so you know, it's a mutual respect there between you two.
I feel like we're a bit of a model, when it comes to it, because we've got, the producer in Shooter. We've got the professor and the fan, the player interaction,
right,
in Schoolie, and then we've got the ham and egg that just isn't afraid to be himself in me, and when you have that kind of dynamic, but you get actual players and people that matter, it's a recipe for people.
Don't sell yourself short, man. You guys matter. Don't sell yourself short, everybody.
Yeah, but you guys have a good combination, especially with these last couple episodes. So you're doing the new guys, and then it was perfect timing with the 30th anniversary because now you got all these veterans that you rounded up and had them all come on the show. Yeah. And I think because Kobe's on there, I think they're a little at ease with him being there, 100%. Especially the ones that have played with them. So you can pull out some of those stories that as a fan, we want to hear.
Correct.
So if that was the plan, it's working.
Well, I don't even know how you handled that episode with Walt and Luke's in the same table and fucking.
You saw that, like
Kobe's not there. Yeah, you just you basically did a Shooter. You just sat back and let them do their thing.
With those guys. I knew tee them up and let them rip, and I really didn't even need to tee them up. As soon as they sat down at the table, they were wide. They were still drunk. I'm telling you right now, they were still drunk from the Top Golf event. I could tell you for sure. Andre was, because he told me that after Top Golf, a bunch of the dudes, they ended up back because I guess they had a bus or something. So they
had a
ended
party
up
van.
back-
They had a party
so
van.
they ended up back at the building. And then Mark Lambert, who we've also had on the block party, trainer, athletic trainer, right?
Coach,
They ended up somehow in like the steam room, and Andre was in the steam room. I think Callie was in there or whatever, and they're tore up. And so Andre, he was like, I was in there and sweating, and I'm so drunk. He's like, this is not a good idea.
Drunk.
I don't think this is a good idea.
Makes you more drunk.
Yeah. So then I think he ended up going back to the hotel, passing out, and then got up like only a few hours later to come back to the arena because they had them scheduled to do everything. That's why you guys saw those vignette pieces for in-game, and then Bally was having them do stuff, and then we were having them do stuff. So they knew, I think, that they were going to get schlepped around, but these guys like to party. When they're around each other, they let loose. And so, that was an interesting episode to have those two guys together. And I didn't really know what to expect, but you saw exactly what happened.
You handled it well. You handled it well, honestly. You did.
I thought so, because that was,
let him go for it.
Listen, that's tough too, because again, you're putting me in a situation where I've been with Kobe this whole time, right? So now I don't have Kobe as, I don't want to say as a crutch, but somebody you can lean on who can take things and start things at a different perspective or tee up a new question. And so now I don't have that. So the first interview I did was with Bishop and Teddy Purcell. And I was like, okay, so that was my first opportunity to have two guys. And how am I going to split the time evenly by asking them questions? Because they each have completely different perspectives, different backgrounds, different stories. So what is the balance, right?
Different
because
eras.
so I typically, the shows are typically about 30 minutes long. So it's like, how do you find the right balance in asking them a question? Do you let, like, if Teddy's going on a tangent about a story, do you then like let Bish react, and then do you let him go off of that story, or do you like completely change the subject? So all these things are going through my mind that I haven't been in this situation before. So how do you play that out? So I didn't think that the interview with Bish and Purcell was my best, but then I went back and watched it. I'm like, that really wasn't that bad at all. What are you talking about? It was awesome.
I liked it a lot.
It was good. So then the next two were those two yahoos. So like I knew that one was going to just fly, and that's exactly what it did. And then Kobe came back that Saturday of the ceremony, and so we pushed back the interview with Callie Boyle, and we also did Terry Crisp, and his is amazing. That one's going to come down the road. I got to interview solo. I was supposed to also have Ryan Malone and Jason Garrison together, but Jason Garrison had a flight issue, so he didn't get in time. So they're like, well, what are we going to do? Greg, do you want to push the Malone interview back until Saturday? And I was like, dude, 4 interviews in a row is a lot. 3 is a lot, but if I got Kobe, I think we could do 3. 4 is pushing it. So just from a mental standpoint. So I said, you know what? Screw it. If Bugsy is here, let's rock. I have enough in my arsenal just to rock with Bugsy for easily 30 or more minutes. And his was awesome. And so that one's supposed to drop Monday, but that I think is going to get pushed back because of the event that's going to be happening this weekend. And I mean, I probably shouldn't say anything right now, but there's going to be a special Bolts block party on Sunday as a part of some playoff festivities that will be open to the public, and we will be recording it live, and fans will be able to interact. So that's all I'm going to give you right now, Bolts Nation. I probably shouldn't have even said that much.
That's why you should watch this show.
Yeah,
that's why you should watch this show.
I'm dropping it here on you're going to get on Wheel of the Thunder. Yep, I'm giving it to you now.
You never know.
You'll find out soon enough. But there will be an event this weekend on Sunday somewhere in Tampa that the Bolts Block Party will be recording live, and you will be able to interact with myself and Kobe and our special guest.
I hate to scoop you, Greg, but there's no way Thomas Schooley didn't know this was already happening. There's no way.
Did you know, Schooley, that this was happening? Or
I don't know where it's. I knew there was something I know where.
Of course, you know.
I know where watch party for game 1 is. I know where watch party for game 2 is.
Okay.
I knew there was some kind of event coming up, but I didn't know what it was.
Okay, so now you know when it's coming up this weekend, and they will release all that information soon. But I'm at least letting you guys know the block party is going to get
keep your plans open for this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to keep your plans. I'll tell you Sunday, especially it's going to be Sunday. It's not going to be Saturday. But it'll be on Sunday.
Sunday.
Yes.
By the way, Saturday there is a Bolts playoff bar crawl, and stick around. And actually, I'll throw it out there right now. If you put in your comment #playoffs, you will be entered to win a pair of Bolts bar crawl tickets. You got to be able to go this Saturday. So if you're out of town, unless you're flying in, don't even try to enter because we're not going to send them to you unless you can be there.
But Saturday morning is the MS walk with Sonia Bryson.
Look at all this.
Anybody wants to come down to Al Lopez Park on Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to participate in the MS walk for Tampa with Sonia.
Nice.
Feel free to come on down.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's just going to get busier.
Promos here. We're just cutting promos here. That's what we do.
Well, I want to ask everyone here and in the chat too, and I see a couple of responses already. Favorite block party episode? We already mentioned mine. I mean, Andre Waugh, when you get him on mic, throw in Brad Lukowicz on the block party. We already mentioned that one, but that was by far my favorite episode.
It was mine too. It really was, just because the stories and and honestly, I really wish we had hit record 10 minutes prior to that actually hitting record, because there was even more.
Okay,
they were just going.
So that's my question. You see how long our shows go, right?
Yeah.
And look, 23 minutes, we haven't even done shit yet.
That's what I'm saying. So I only get them for about.
How do you keep these episodes to
30 minutes,
30 to 40 minutes?
Because the production crew that's behind us, once we start, they're timing it out. Because I think that's also the sell to the players is, this isn't gonna. We're not going to be here for an hour. Like, this is not like a sit down 30 for 30 ESPN special. Thank you, Dan, for the love on the block party. They know it's 30 minutes. And so I pretty much, when I do my research, Kobe does his research and the things that he wants to ask. And we don't talk to each other prior, which I think is great. Before, when we first started, we kind of like would talk and text and stuff. And now I kind of let him come up with his stuff. I come up with my stuff. And when we get together in the room, then we review with each other. What do you have? What do you have? And then that way, some of the stuff overlaps, which is great, because then he can take it to a certain spot in the interview, or I can play off of something he says. But I think it's been good that way, that we both kind of ask our own stuff. Because again, I'm coming from a fan perspective. He's coming from a player perspective. So we don't really chit chat too much prior to it. But yeah, I mean, you have a spitfire bunch of questions written down, and then based upon how quickly the conversation's going, some of these guys are more storytellers than others, which are, the shorter answer guys. You got to have a bunch of stuff in the arsenal. So between Kobe and I, we just kind of keep tabs on each other. And then our producers, they'll give us a time. Like, they'll give us, okay, we have 8 minutes. If I see that go up, that means I know we got 8 minutes until 30 minutes. There's been times.
TV production.
There's producer. There's a crew behind us. Sometimes some of the episodes have had multiple camera guys. Like Gabe's been there, Mikey's been there. Where we've had, like, when we had Pointer, we had multiple cameras. Which that episode was huge because he had never been on.
That's my favorite episode, because of the fact that before you had interviewed him, you went to the fans, and because he is such a private person, he hasn't been on some. So it was a lot of fan interaction and the questions that they wanted to know, because a lot of times you like to keep secret who your guests are and everything else until they come out. So this one, you went on all the different groups and said, hey, there's. Not saying it's going to happen, but if it does, what would you guys want to ask him? Correct. So 90% of those, I think, got answered, because there's a lot of the same ones and everything. And he is such a private person. So I think mine is Braden Point.
And he's just so darn cute, No, but you know what I mean? Like, he's just so, like, quiet and so reserved and just not.
He's
like,
just an everyday dude.
He's having the quietest, hopefully 50-goal season of all time, is because he's just a quiet dude.
Yeah,
there's nothing flashy about him.
But it's crazy because when he gets on the ice, it's a whole different person.
It's the opposite.
It's
right.
insane.
It's the
opposite.
And that's that dude has charisma for days on the ice. Right.
This is great. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just happened to look over on the chat and I'm seeing what people are saying. Great job, Roy and Luke. Underrated episode from Dance's Paul
PK.
Kennedy.
Paul
Kennedy is awesome.
Yeah.
That guy could tell stories for days.
Let me tell you right now. There's nobody that I love more in all of Tampa Bay sports fandom than PK.
Yeah.
Period.
He may be the nicest person I've ever met.
And he's seen it all.
Oh, 100%. He's seen it all. Oh, we dropped. It was the whiskey shot. He hit the wrong button for sure. He hit the button. But yeah, PK, he is the most genuine, just nicest person. Like I don't know how else to explain it. Like anytime you get in a room with Paul Kennedy, it's never about him. It's always about you. And like, his attitude, his demeanor. He's so interested in what's going on in your life. Like when I just went to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico with my wife, and Paul Kennedy texts me when I landed and said, "I'm glad to see you got there safely." And I said, "What?" He goes, "I just happened to be online." I was like, "Greg Wolf's traveling to Mexico today." And he looked up my flight to see that I got to Mexico safely. I'm like, who does that? Paul Kennedy does that.
PK.
That just goes literally
PK.
to show you. And he was like, "Have a great time. I'm glad you're there safely." Like my mom, I'm like, the man's amazing. So PK, I would say, is definitely an underrated episode. What else do we have here on the chat? Vinny Prospel. Yeah, dude. Vinny Prospel has no filter. He's kind of like an Andre Waugh.
My guy.
Vinny P, dude, is awesome. And his accent is just, again, we've had so many good storytellers. Even Yanni Gord was like another one that I love. Killer was, I mean, they've all been really good. And again, everybody has a different way of how they interview. Like I said, Girardi, when he started it, different way because he was just off the cuff, just kind of spitballing. Seth had a different way, a different demeanor, with his background. And then, obviously the Kobe and Wolfie era now. It's a different block party than it started. And so I'm glad you fans are enjoying it. I'm absolutely loving it. Again, like I said, to be able now to get up and interact with these guys on a personal level and ask them things that I've wanted to know as a fan, as you guys have wanted to know as fans. And like Thomas said, a lot of the times we don't like to pre-promote who we're going to have on because of the element of surprise. But when it came to Pointer, the fact that he had never been on, I knew that it was important to kind of tee it up in a way that I could let the fans in that, hey, we're trying, knowing full well that we're going to get him, to allow the fans to ask. And you guys asked great questions, and I'm glad he answered a lot of those questions on the show, which was fantastic. So everybody has also been asking us about Kucherov. And so I want to address that because I was like, there's no way Kucherov is ever going to go on the block party for numerous reasons, right? However, and now I'm not saying this season because we're at the point now where it's
playoff
time,
Gooch. Give him some Bud Light. He's good.
Yeah, so and everybody thinks he loves Bud Light. I think that was just an element of the moment.
Totally.
He milked that for all it's worth. But there's a couple guys that haven't been on, right? And there's very few now. I mean, because if you go back 4 years, you'll forget that a lot of these guys may have already been on. I know, Cooch is not
the big three or four,
Hetty,
if you will.
Hetty hasn't. Stammer has been on. It was
during
Stammer's
at his
been
hotel room.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Stammer's been on.
Really
Now we've had Pointer, Brisebois, Coop. Like most of them have been on. There's just a few like Fleury, Cole, Radish, some of the newer guys. But again, we just had Asamont. We just had Jeannot. So like we tried to get the new guys on as soon as they got in. But there's a handful that have not been on. Obviously, Kucherov is one of those. So I was like, there's no way that Cooch is going to come on the show. And he's not a big talker. Right. So Kobe, though, seems to think otherwise. And Kobe seems to think that if he asks the right day, the right time, it literally is going to have to be a situation where it's the right day,
the perfect storm.
It's the right time. Cooch is in a good mood, and Kobe is asking him to do it. I'm telling you right now, Bolts Nation, that show, if and when it happens, is going to be zero to do with me. He's going to be, he may know who I am and seen me, but he doesn't know me like that. He knows Kobe. So if Kobe gets him on and Kobe leads that interview, and I, as the fan, I'm kind of taking some of the information and I'm absorbing it, and then I can ask questions off of things that Kobe is leading, that's the way that's going to have to go down. And I also said
the shit out of that episode.
I'm piggybacking that one all day. Like, that's Kobe
that
leading it. I'm just chiming in when I feel the moment is right and just letting him do his thing. I also said, if Kobe or if Cooch is not comfortable in a certain setting, let's get him in a setting where he's comfortable. Is that his house? Yeah. Are we sitting on his couch and Mikey just sets up a tripod and hits record?
Technology allows.
Yes, like
right now, technology makes that happen.
Correct. We can go anywhere that he's comfortable and he's most relaxed. And he's
except Russia.
Well, if we got to fly to Russia, then we'll go. Okay. So
listen, is it in the budget?
Is it in the budget? No, because if they can't figure out how to get Kobe on an airplane to sunrise, they're not going into Russia for Cooch. But I will say this: it has been discussed.
Fundraise a shit of things out of the show. So if it comes down to it, we will do a GoFundMe.
Yeah, I mean, so
block party in Russia.
So Cooch is, he's a private dude. He doesn't do media and all that. So if and when that does happen, that's going to be a humongous episode, not just for us here in Tampa, but I think on a global level, because it's not like you're seeing Cooch on the NHL Network or ESPN or NHL.com. So if we get him and it's in a relaxed, fun environment, we get to talk about him growing up. And we've seen pictures of Cooch with some of his idols and stuff like that. Like, if we get him start talking about that and what his path was like to get to this point in his career and being a part of the original triplet, like, there's so much to talk to him about, but is he going to talk?
Have to be your first 30 for 30 episode. That's gotta be
could be
series, honestly.
So
you can't do 30 minutes with Cooch.
No, I think that one we would roll and just
like it's like the Lightning lore right now. Which again, that's something I'm living right now. As much as I love Block Party, I love the Lightning lore with PK, as we talked about, sitting down with Paul and Espo. Right. And I know they broke it up into like 7 or 12-minute episodes, but like, to me,
sure,
that'd be fine if you guys did like an hour or hour 15.
I don't know if Cooch would last an hour. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'll be shocked if we got 20 minutes out of him. To be honest with you, I mean, it may be like a 22-minute episode, but god damn it, it'll be a great 22 minutes.
I just think, to me, he seems like a guy that doesn't like to talk, but once you get him talking, he probably won't stop. That's what I feel.
That's where Kobe, and that's where Kobe comes in, because Kobe will know how to lead that fish to that horse to water.
That horse to the water.
Correct. So we're trying, guys. Trust me, I've asked. Hetty's another one. Like, Hetty's been featured in so many like different Lightning episodes, and they're taking him home back to Sweden and stuff. So he's been featured a lot more than the other guys on the team. So, but he knows like these guys know it's coming, and these guys all talk to each other too. Like, they know, especially Nick Paul, when they found out Kobe was the one that, turned his room and all that, like that got around the locker room, because he was going to go to the grave with that story. And he's like, I hit it at the right moment. This was the right moment to let it out. And so, those guys talk, they know.
You need to go to Nigel and just tell him when they give Cooch the iPad to put you and Kobe on there asking him questions. Right there on the bench on the iPad.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no doubt.
That's the best situation you could have. Let him score or something. And
you would have to bleep that entire episode.
Hilarious. That's a great idea.
It wouldn't be terrible. It would not. It would just be Cooch swearing in Russian.
Okay, and we'll roll with it. We'll have a translator bar at the bottom. What are you saying?
No, it'd be hilarious if you get Sergey to translate, to do the bad lip reading of Kucherov.
Since the last time we talked to you, Greg,
of Kucherov, that'd be hilarious.
Since the last time you were on here, you got the chance to host what I thought was probably the best event the Lightning have ever put on, and that was the Hall of Fame event. Yeah. How are you able to do those kind of things and not geek out? Like you say now, how you bring the fan perspective, but those things, when you get like, it was out front, the blue carpet, you were inside, but Luca and Wall and all them, I mean, they came out of the party bus with beers, and Wall was like, someone asked him where Dan was, and he goes, was he not on our bus? He's like, I thought he's been in there the whole time. And they're like, no, he's on the next bus. And he's like, oh, he's like, okay. So, and then they actually had to come out to them and say, hey guys, we're trying to sit for dinner. Let's come
Right.
inside.
Yes.
And they were like, well, all right.
Yeah, we had to corral them in. I had to make numerous announcements because when those guys came in the building, they went right down to the Ashley Lounge and they had more drinks and photo opportunities, and fans could like take pictures with Phil. And
What could
there's,
go
you know,
wrong?
so I kept having to make announcements. Please, you know, the dinner service is starting. We ask that you please get to your seats. I mean, I probably said that 8 times because again, and I understand too, a lot of these guys haven't seen each other, and you know, there's a lot of big names in the room, and there's a lot of executives and NHL people, and you know, there's a lot of conversations and all of that while you're trying to stay on a time schedule, right? Because it's being recorded for TV, and we have a schedule that we have to stick to. The doors to the house are opening for the general public. And so there was a lot going on, again, that you guys don't necessarily see because, like you said, there's the blue carpet player walk outside. And meanwhile, inside, like, we're trying to get this show pony on the road. So I originally did not know that I was going to be doing the role that I was doing as kind of like the precursor to Paul Kennedy taking over and starting the official ceremony. I originally thought that Gabby, Shirley, and I were going to kind of walk the room while Paul was kind of doing things and us walk up to certain tables.
Like an ATV red carpet kind of thing.
Exactly. Or kind of like the Emmys or Oscars. Oh, right. Gabby, I'm over here with, you know, Steven Stamkos. Steven, how amazing is it for you to be here tonight with your family to witness, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, oh, I'm over here with Vinny Lecavalier. And I thought that's what it was going to be like. And come to find out, they're like, no. You're going to kind of start the show. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah. And I saw the script and I'm like, hold on a minute. This is me like interviewing the guys from like the different generations. And then it was kind of like the Tampa Theater event reimagined, so to speak. Because if you were at the Tampa Theater event, you saw the different eras of Lightning hockey, starting with the Espo and the Hockey Bay and then the Vinnick era. So they basically rehashed that, kind of re-edited some of the stuff to make it more for the Hall of Fame ceremony. So then I'm looking at the script and I'm like, wait a minute. I thought that was going to be something that either Rick Peckham would be doing or PK, and not realizing, nope, we're giving the heavy lifting to Greg so that Paul can just run the ceremony. Yeah. And so, again, like you said, huge honor. Like, I mean, I'm looking back to, you know, I just did the Winter Classic. I just did the All-Star game. I just did, you know, the Stadium Series. And now I'm being asked by the Lightning to host the kickoff to the Hall of Fame induction, the very first Hall of Fame ever induction ceremony. That was humbling, man, to be honest with you. I was a little nervous, to be honest, because I didn't know it was going to be that pomp. And I mean, it was mind-blowing to be a part of it.
We talked about it last week whenever Shooter was gone, and it was just me and Thomas. We didn't have a guest. One thing we talked about is the number of Hall of Famers on this team currently.
Oh, yeah.
Future Hall of Famers compared to every other team in the league.
Yeah.
Nobody else has the future Hall of Famers currently on their team. And then also the ties to the legends that helped build this franchise.
It's insane.
So for you to be kind of the bridge from the old guard to the new guard.
Interesting.
And then still having PK as the guy that's seen it all.
Yes.
It's just,
I didn't think about it like that. That's an interesting dynamic because you're right.
That's heavy as shit, man.
It's pretty heavy.
I mean, I just saw the ad for Michael J. Fox's new show. It's still that's going to be on Apple Plus. That's heavy, man.
Right? No, it is.
That's heavy because it brings you back honor that like you said. You didn't even think about it till just now, and like that's something that blows my mind. That you are the bridge from that era to this era.
Yeah.
And not only because of what you did on the radio before, because you were that guy on the radio during that.
Sure.
When we were all listening to the music during that time of building our allegiances and everything else. And then for you to now be the guy in the arena and then the behind the scenes as well with the block party. And now to be hosting these events, not just for our team, but for the entire NHL. But then you get to go see those and they come back here. I understand that this team and this franchise has some of the most prolific players in the history of the league attached to it.
Yeah.
In only 30 years of existence.
It's pretty remarkable. It really is. And to really touch on that, I started with the team after the lockout year, after we won the Stanley Cup. So 04, we win the cup. 05 lockout year, I start 06. So it was that rocky era of Lightning hockey where this transition phase 2 years before we get Stamkos, and being a part of that. What is our identity? We just won the cup. We can't defend the cup. Who are we now? This is a different team that just won the cup. We're losing guys, feasters. It was crazy times to now fast forward to 2023 and having been there through all of that from every era, from literally starting from when Mr. Davidson owned the team and being a part of that original kind of Espo era, but not quite, more the Hockey Bay era, now into the Vinik era. And to be able to interact with those guys that were a part of it, like Brian Bradley, and it was pretty awesome to Boyle. Like, there's just so many different guys from back in the day that are still around.
I'm looking forward to that Bugsy episode because I don't think people realize how long he was here.
The impact that he made on our team.
He had a big presence in that bridge era. And it sucks that he went out the way he did because of off the ice issues.
Sure.
That I think in any other league, he probably would have just been like, meh, whatever. But that time in the NHL, it was foreboding and everything that happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like that's not a representative of who he is as a person.
No, not even
close.
That
was one time and one moment in his life that now, almost like Marty St. Louis, where everyone's like, oh, how dare he do that? No, he had to do something for his family in that moment. How dare you judge his entire life off of one moment?
Correct.
I feel the same thing about Bugsy, man. Bugsy is one of my guys, man.
Yeah, and you'll hear about that.
Him and Teddy Purcell in that era, when Stammer was still coming up, I think those two guys aren't recognized enough for the impact they had in Stammer's early time after Vinny and Marty were gone, and how Stamkos is trying to find his way.
Bugsy was huge. Bugsy was huge, and so was Teddy Purcell.
Teddy Purcell, dude. Teddy Purcell on the line with Stamkos at that time. Those are two of my favorite guys in the history of this organization.
Yeah,
because of what they did in the time when those superstars had left, and then Stamkos and Hetty were so trying to find their way into being leaders. They were young, trying to find their way into the next generation of leaders for this franchise.
Yeah, you guys will enjoy that Bugsy episode because we talk about a lot of different stuff and his foundation and what he's doing now.
It's awesome. We all like to party sometimes too. It's Tampa Bay, baby. We live in Florida, man.
True
Tampa Bay.
story.
We like to party sometimes. Let's be honest. Don't be judging people for partying.
No judging over here, man.
That's all I'm saying.
No judging. No judging. But yeah, so to just kind of go full circle, that was an amazing event to be a part of, and it truly was humbling to be asked to be involved in such a way in that role, to kind of carry the event up to the actual ceremony, and looking around the room, that front table with Stammer and Hetty and Killer, and you look over there and you see Mr. Vinik, and you see the original guys that were in the executive office, and you look over there and Vinny, and then there's Marty, and you just kind of look around the room, and it was literally, that was the best way I could describe it. It was almost like the Oscars of the Lightning / NHL.
NHL, really?
There wasn't a dry eye in the audience.
Yeah,
Not a dry eye in the audience.
It was an emotional, just fun, funny, just unpredictable event, but it was so very well put together. And again, now I will forever be affiliated with that event. It's crazy to think that.
And the reason why I think, me personally, thought it was one of the best events was you've seen the fandom grow. You, of all people, have seen the fandom grow of this team and over the different generations. And I thought that single program there really put everybody as one. And there was that comment made where you put on the Lightning sweater one time and you're always a Tampa Bay Lightning.
Right.
And I think the fans felt that too, because I had fans who just became fans in the last couple of years sitting behind me. I had fans who had been there since the beginning on the side of me, that have been through all the eras or just came in during the Vinik era and have heard stories of the previous eras, and now they're getting to see this, and they're getting to see how it is today. And so I thought for the first time, they really gapped everybody, all the fans, into just one true Lightning fan in that event there.
Yeah.
Great way
The
to put
only
it.
thing I wish is that we had more social media back in 04,
Sure.
because I don't think people understand the fervor of us, and I say us, sleeping on Thunder Alley,
Right.
pitching tents.
Right.
And like that was like, I don't think any other franchises had that happen, when you're pitching tents outside of the arena because they were giving $8 tickets for the first 100 people in line. Like that to me is the foundation. Okay, yeah, they played in the fairgrounds and we had Phil Esposito and we had all that, but that 2004, that's like
Yeah.
my age. You know, I'm 42 now. I'll be 43. That was us college kids.
Yeah.
That to me, if it wasn't for that 04 run, I still don't know if we would be as big of a hockey town even after the 2 cups, if it wasn't for that, because that was what made us take our kids and our friends and show
Sure.
everybody else. And you know, we slept on the plaza for 3 months, man. We had to pick up. That's when the Storm were still there. Our tents were on the AstroTurf. We had to pick them up so the Storm could go practice during the day, and then we put them back down after they were done. They showed Miracle on the
ass
building.
field. Oh my
Yeah.
god! On the
Shots
plaza.
was
That's
still
where they
open.
used to have to practice. They used to have to use the inflatable, the inflatable sideline so that they could practice on the freaking
We
plaza.
sat there and watched them practice
For
during the
3
day.
months, Stash was like, "This is my home, guys."
Oh my god,
was-
dude!
I
That
was
stuff.
basically a college kid, so it wasn't hard for me to live
That
in
turf
the
was
tent.
disgusting, dude. They'd roll that thing up and put it in the garage, and it would just get just gross
mildew.
spit and just and you're sleeping on it. Nice.
Well,
Oof, don't miss
some
that.
people
crap.
were. Some people were. I was in the bushes close to where Thomas School likes to post up for a playoff game. But that's because they had a power source, so we were playing PS2 back in the day. That's how old I am, PS2. But yeah, like that to me is the legacy that it was set. But I love the fact that you are part of this new era that is really creating memories that's going to be a legacy. Like this is the true legacy of the Lightning right now, and what they've done in the community for hockey. All like what 04, there was like 4 indoor arenas. Now there's 16 in the Tampa Bay area, something like that. You've got the Advent Center up in or over in Lutz, where they're all playing the Ice Bowls, all the high school programs.
League. Yep.
I
If
mean,
you build
it's boom, build the dreams, right?
Yeah.
They're
doing
it. It's like Jeffrey Vinnick is our own Kevin Costner, right?
Yes, Field of Dreams. It's a rink of dreams. I mean, that's what they do also at the rink before games. But yeah, it's a huge testament to Vinnick and what he's built and the Lightning development programs, and Jay Feaster obviously being the architect of the 04 team and now being overseeing that. Yeah, it's just they've done a phenomenal job. And you hear it from the players too, like the guys that we talked to, when they were like, it's crazy. When I first came down here, I didn't really realize how much of a hockey town this was until like I'm driving around neighborhoods and you see flags in front of people's houses and on cars and like it was rampant. Like you would see it more so than teams up north. Like you see teams in their love because they have longevity. They've been around for 50 or 100 years or whatever. We're a 30-year program. So to have an organization that's only 30 years old, to have that much exposure and to be in every corner of the city, everywhere you look, from T-shirts, from kids playing on the parking lot, it's everywhere. And so
4 counties minimum, and they're not small counties.
Right.
And how about the entire Bay Area?
And it's not just here. It's global. It's global.
Well,
I've seen it. I've seen it global.
Which good segue, because man, what a great piece about the 2 brothers
from Japan,
Korea,
the Distant Thunder.
The Distant Thunder that came here, and then you got to host them. But I saw the precursor at the video that they were.
It's like an Emmy.
Is there a video of them here?
Yes. So
they're going to release an experience of them here, right?
Yeah. So Visit Tampa Bay did a partnership with the Lightning on that one, and so not only did they do the game, but they took them around. They went to a sushi restaurant, obviously, because they're sushi restaurant.
I need to know. I need to know which one they went to.
I don't know. I don't know yet. They haven't put it out yet.
I love sushi, so I need to know what the Japanese said.
They took them to Busch Gardens. They did a safari. They took them to the aquarium, so they took them all over to like a lot of the different.
I saw those photos.
So I don't think
there's a video.
Yeah, there will be. They haven't put it out yet.
No.
But yeah, how amazing to do that Distant Thunder
Right.
video from them from Japan to then
And
bring
then
them here.
And I was at the game that night that
It was amazing.
there.
They literally
Yeah.
speak no English. They had a
Nope.
translator with them. They understood, and they were so happy. And what a game, an unbelievable game for them to be at.
The Islanders game, right?
Yeah, we crushed them.
Yeah.
But just, yeah, man, that again, it shows a testament to how the Lightning have grown globally. But I saw it firsthand at the Global Series in Stockholm when the one game was technically supposed to be a home game for Buffalo and the other game was technically supposed to be a home game for the Lightning. But 90% of that crowd in the Ericsson Globe on both nights were Lightning fans. And I have video and photos of scanning that crowd, and there was very little yellow in that crowd, and it was a lot of blue and white. And you could tell just by the cheers in the building when we would score goals. It was ridiculous.
What about the Stadium Series?
Well,
Stadium Series.
I mean, again,
but I will say though, there's a little bit of a cultural impact because a lightning bolt transcends.
It's
it
cool,
transcends
man.
all
Right.
cultures though, because like it's awesome. Like the lightning bolt is the power of the gods.
It's
no matter what culture or religion you're from, lightning is mystical.
Correct.
Right.
Sticks.
And so to use that mystical power as the symbol of your franchise innately transcends
everything.
Everybody
it's
like music. It's like if you were the Jazz, which I still don't understand why the Jazz aren't more. But you know what I'm saying? Like like if you're music, but even still, that's like, oh, you have a different name for every type of music that you have. There's only really one thing for lightning, and that is pure electricity. Whatever your culture or your language is, it's nothing is more inspiring.
Fact.
Because lightning creates fire. Fire is even not great compared to lightning. The first time any human being saw fire was because of a lightning strike. That's how we as human beings discovered fire, was from lightning. That's anthropological facts right there. So we are basically the basis of all cultural societies, because if it wasn't for man discovering fire, we would not have society. And it was the lightning that created fire.
So clearly the 4th Stanley Cup is happening in just a couple months' time.
No. We don't even need more Stanley Cups. We've already created a cultural phenomenon as it is. That's all I'm saying, right?
Well,
I want more. Clearly, I want more. I'm American. I want more. But I'm still satisfied with the reach. And that's what I'm saying. I'm satisfied. I love that we are a global brand.
Yep.
Just because A, that we're the Lightning, and then B, we're such a genuine franchise. That's the other thing. How much has Mr. Vinnick given back, not just in our community, but globally, for this franchise and what he has done for the NHL?
Yeah.
For the NHL. Like Gary Bettman needs to be like, okay, Mr. Vinnick, you could be an owner and commissioner now, because you clearly get it more than I do.
The other thing about, being a Lightning fan today and kind of our generation of Lightning fans is, think about, being a Bruins fan or a Rangers fan. Were you around for the first 30 years of that franchise to see like how that franchise was built and all those older great players? We're really lucky that, I didn't live here when they first started, but, heard all the stories, felt like I've lived here for that long. But, been here for all the cups, been here for, most of those 30 years. We're really lucky that we've been able to kind of, almost grow up with the team, because all these other great sports fans will never be able to experience that.
They're living on the greatness of their fathers or their grandfathers, or the stories that they were told by their generations before them. We are in it. Right?
Well, before
we're living it.
But you got to remember, before the 2021, 22, all of us were talking about 04, and the kids that got to experience now back in 2004 were just being born. So they were living in our experience.
Right.
Now their kids get to, and then, as long as that was like 8 or 10 years, like 8 years, 8 or 9 years. They've been, the other fan bases have been living in it for 30, 40, 3 generations. Like
some have never won it,
17 years.
Yeah, you know what
17
I'm
years.
saying? Like that's it's different for us, and that's something that, like you said to start the show, Greg, we're spoiled. We're spoiled.
We're
to be in a
100% spoiled.
30-year franchise to
And
have
be so
3
good.
cups,
Yeah.
and still the window is wide open. And this is something I was talking about last week. I love the fact that there's basically zero pressure on us now this year, right? The last 2 years has been so much pressure.
Correct.
This year, basically zero pressure, except for within the organization. Outside pressure, zero. Zero outside pressure.
I couldn't agree more. I think 100% all of the pressure is on Boston. 100% because
first round Toronto. First round, all the pressure's on Toronto.
Toronto is like, you got to be effing kidding me. I'm telling you, their fan base is losing their shit right now. Because as soon as they learn that they're going to have to play the Lightning, they're probably screaming, "Oh, we got home ice advantage." We don't give a shit. Okay, at the end of the day,
they did last year too.
Yeah, we'll play you wherever the hell you want to play. We'll play in a barn. We'll go back to the fairgrounds. We don't care where we play you. We know what it takes. You have not proven to anybody that you guys know what it takes to get over the hump. This is just facts. We're only speaking facts. Okay. So we are not worried about Toronto. The pressure is 100% on Toronto, because if they lose again in the first round, imagine being a Maple
nuclear
Leafs fan. Like
bomb.
We said that last season, right? And now they're thinking, okay, maybe this is our year this year. Is it though? Because if you lose again to the Lightning in round 1, implosion. Okay, Boston again. The pressure and the curse of the President's Trophy is 100% now on their shoulders, and they're going to have to dispel over a decade's worth of folklore, if you will.
By the way, thank you.
The fact is
that for taking away our record.
Thank you. So you can have it. Yep, you got the best record ever. You've won the most games ever. Okay, guess what? If you don't win everything and win the cup, then it is a absolute failure, and nobody's going to give a crap, and nobody's going to talk about your stupid record. We've been down this path. We've been there. Okay, we don't care about it. We do not care about participation trophies. We have one goal. We know what it takes. It's 16 more victories. We're going to get it done. Our boys know what it takes. As long as we can remain healthy, knock on wood. Everyone on our team knows what it takes. Every one of them. So just leave it at that. 16 wins. Chalk it up. Get the cat basket. Vazzy in the basket with the kitty cats. Get it ready. Okay, just get it ready.
Agree. I'm with you, man.
All right.
So, I will say one thing. Rupper was on NHL Network earlier today, and he was saying the one thing I think is if Toronto could come out, their best chance is to close out it in 5. If it gets to Game 6 and Game 7, it's over. It's over.
I'm going to tell you right now,
just like last year, right?
If we get one or two at home, at their home on next week, it's a wrap. If they get 2 on us, then to me, it's going to go to 7. If we pull out 1 or 2 in Toronto, they're not going to win the series. I'm telling you right now, because we're going to have the momentum coming back to us, and we're not going to let it go.
It's in their heads.
It's in their heads.
Yeah.
And I also believe Austin Matthews, whether they win a cup or not, isn't staying there. He's going to Arizona as soon as he wants to go home. I honestly think Austin Matthews wants to go home.
Awesome. So, I think Matthews, Marner, those guys are great. They're great.
Yep.
But they do not have what it takes when it comes. The gusto, they just don't have
mental fortitude.
The mental fortitude that I'm going to put everything on the line. I know what it takes. We've been here before. They do not have that. Mm-hmm. We have it in every facet, and now the younger guys are going to be so hungry to want it themselves. They're going to put everything
to the veterans. They got to prove the veterans that they are worth to being on the franchise.
Correct.
In this franchise that
agree.
Brought them in. You know,
they're going to
like they said. Oh, Tanner should know what a huge blow. What they paid for him. Not really. Really.
And he's going to play
finally in the 4th line. Well, exactly. It's not as bad as we thought it was going to be.
Thank God.
So he'll be back at some point.
Yep.
And on top of that, the rest of the team they got nicked up, but not injured.
Correct.
And going into the playoffs, everyone was on the ice. Oh, there.
No, I'm saying I'm not going to staying healthy is going to be key. Yeah. We know
I have an actual rich mahogany desk.
Okay, knock on that one.
Real hardwood.
We know that health is going to be paramount. We know that as long as we have Vazzy in net, playoff Vazzy, and we have Braden effing Point, which we did not have last year. If we had Braden Point last year and a couple guys who were not as banged up, I think we win that series.
Well, and
the fact that we did
Miller not on the third line. That's
okay. That's
it. Miller
so
on the third line. That's the two things to me.
I feel with Braden Point, that is the wild factor, and that is a difference maker. The dude is 1 away from 50 goals. Very few people are in that company.
Quite a 50 goal season.
The fact that Kucherov is got a gazillion assists. The fact that Stammer is Stammer. The fact that Hedman is freaking firing lasers from the blue. Like I have zero qualms whatsoever that once we hit that game 1.
This is another good point. Because Cirelli was also hurt. Not only did we not have points, Cirelli had two
broken shoulders. Two
bad shoulders.
How do you play any hockey with one bad shoulder?
He's except for maybe Colton this year, the most physical forward we have.
Those injury reports that came out last year, and you saw mangled hands, broken fingers, dislocated shoulders, broken ankles, broken feet.
And we still went 6 games.
And we still went 6 games. That's my point. That's it right there. If these guys, they are warriors.
The only point I need, Sean.
They know what they take. They know what it takes. And I feel that as long as we can remain healthy, we know what it takes, and we will get to the promised land.
I couldn't agree more with you. So, that being said, man.
Yes.
Wow. You've been here with us for an hour. You are gracious as hell. It doesn't seem like it doesn't.
Yeah, we're flying through it
so quickly.
Thank you, Samantha Davis. Greg Wolf is great just finding this show. Thank you, Samantha.
Wow,
I appreciate you.
Thank you. See,
that's awesome for checking in.
Thank you for bringing us in because.
Just real quick. Tomorrow, I believe, is Go Green Night, which doesn't really mean anything except for the
mystery
fact
puck.
Mystery pucks.
I'll be really green tomorrow.
Just make sure you recycle your bottles and cans in the recyclable bins. It is obviously a recognition game again for Stammer with his 1000th game game. So many accolades. I keep forgetting 500,000 points, 1,000 game. So that will be celebrated
this season. Yeah.
I know it's insane. So that'll be tomorrow as well. Thursday is fan appreciation night, where obviously we do jerseys off our backs, which we haven't done in a while because COVID and I don't think we did it last year. So we're bringing that back, which is awesome. I do not know quite yet what's happening in game as far as fan appreciation. I know they always do like concession specials and they do all sorts of giveaways. We just give a lot of stuff away. I know that much. Like it's almost like every break we're giving something away to somebody. So that's on Thursday. Again, there will be a fan event this weekend. It will be on Sunday. I can't divulge too many details because I don't want them mad at me for letting the cat out the bag. I'm just telling you it's on Sunday, and there will be a live. Yeah, they are. Look at your feed. There'll be a live Bolts Block Party recording with myself and Kobe and a special guest that will be completely fan interactive. So you guys will be able to ask the guest questions. It will be recorded live. It will be played back. That's why I was hoping Bugsy. That episode with Ryan Malone, I believe, was going to air next Monday. But the fact that we're doing the Bolts Block Party on Sunday and recording it live, I think the goal is to play that back on Monday for fans who couldn't be at the event on Sunday. And then we'll push back Bugsy to the following week. And then I don't know if it's Terry Crisp or whoever else we had lined up. We had a lot of them lined up from Alumni Week. So that's what's coming up. Obviously, we'll be on the road for the first two watch parties. Will be obviously here at home. All those details will be out soon. As far as that goes, I do not know for a game 5 if I know playoff parties 1 and 2 for the first 2 games will be in the same location, but I do not know if that game 5, should we need it, I don't know if that would be in the same location or they're going to switch it up. I know that as the rounds go, the locations will change. I do think there were talks about spreading it out around the Bay Area, not just keeping it in one spot, which I think is great. So just know that those talks are happening. I've been in some of them, but I don't know all the final details. I'm just trying to give you guys as much as I can as far as what I know is on the horizon. I think that's most of it for now. I mean, that's what's coming up in the next week or so.
That's it.
And that's cool. That's what I got for you boys. Wow. That's what I got.
We'll see you at a boat in a couple months.
Yeah, man. We'll come back here and we'll talk about how we won the Stanley Cup again. It'll be awesome.
I'll have to put another picture on my wall.
Yes, you will.
With another trophy.
Fingers crossed. Well, hey, man, thanks as always for being the number one host. Make sure you go follow him at Greg Wolf TBL on Twitter. Instagram is awesome. Go check out the stories, game nights, and everything like that.
Bro, stop cutting me out of your hat game, bro. You got to let me know when you get a new hat. Let me know.
When I get new hats. Oh,
yes.
Dude, you guys don't want to see my closet. It's ridiculous with the amount of hats in there.
Look, I'm just debating whether I need actual players on the wall or all of my hats.
Your hats,
because there's so many.
Yeah,
I'm with
keep
you.
The hats in the closet.
Keep
the hats in the closet.
Off season cribs at Greg Wolf House.
We can do that if you want to do a special shooter in the stash.
I really want to do
stash production.
Just to go through the wardrobe closet.
Yes,
yeah, it is.
Yes,
let's do it.
I'm
jonesing. Have fun hosting these games for the playoffs in this week, and we'll probably see you around the arena. Appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Go Bo.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, brother.
All right, that was Greg Wolf. If you're like
the Wolfie,
don't know who that is.
Well, then you should be watching the show. Yeah. Speaking of which, I don't want to bring it up while Greg was on the show and compete within arena, but we're locking it up today. We're going to be at MDP Liquors. Actually, the drink's at 9. It's Del Mabry Avenue, right at what is it? Van Dyke, where it used to be called the Vine and another place, but it's a really cool bar / liquor store. We'll be doing a watch party there. We'll be giving away tickets to the very first home game. Sure.
We're going to give away tickets online.
Okay.
But we will have a lot of giveaways at for game 1. At the bar.
So we'll be there. Monkey Cult, Matt at Monkey Cult helped us secure this location. It's going to be a great place to come out and watch the game. It's also a liquor store as well, not only just a bar. So, if you're into bourbon or wine, they have a wine cave. It's like a wine cellar, but a cave for wine, which usually you see at gas stations for beer. No Bud Light. You don't have to shoot it up. You can just go in there and find some wine. And at the bar, they've got 150 bourbons minimum. And if you don't have Pappy Van Winkle, it's a place to go get some. We can have a pour, and we'll be there for the first away game. Broadcasting live in between intermissions. We haven't decided if we're going to do a post-game show or not. I know we usually do, but if we're on location, we're still talking about it. But it's a really cool location. It's a cool spot. It's going to be a good time. So
we will have some sick giveaways. I actually have a box. I have a mystery box, the reverse retro mystery box.
There it is.
And some other stuff in school. He's got a whole van of miscellaneous items.
I don't have a van.
He's got the swagmobile.
Wrong group.
We will be giving out tickets to game 3. That is the first game here at Amalie Arena. Make sure you follow Shooter in the Stash on Facebook, and also make sure you follow Monkey Cult Coffee on Instagram, because tomorrow there will be some information about that. Really, all you're going to have to do is make sure that you like both of the accounts and tag 2 friends in the comments, and you'll be entered to win a pair of playoff tickets. Not a bad deal for listening to a podcast and drinking some delicious
$300 value.
Absolutely.
Haven't seen playoff tickets.
We're also going to do these bar crawl tickets. So if you're going to be in and around Tampa, downtown Tampa, this is the Downtown Crawlers Bolts playoff bar crawl. These guys will be there. I can't be there on Saturday, but these guys will most likely be there with you. A bunch of Thunderbolts are going to be representing. Sticks of Fire is going to be there. They're going to paint the town blue before the playoffs start. We had a great time at it last year. So if you do want to get in on those tickets, just make sure you add #playoffs into the comment here in the next probably about 10 minutes until we're wrapping up here. That starts a yeoman's, by the way.
I just saw that I interrupt everyone and I don't shut up, so I'm not going to talk anymore.
Oh,
well, occasionally. Must be a first timer.
I don't think
when I don't talk, it's dead air, but that's fine.
I don't think that Facebook people see that.
Yeah, well, it's fine.
All right, so that was good. We didn't even mention Brian Boyle episode that dropped today, which was another great episode of Block Party. But man, Greg Wolf is everywhere. All-Star Game, all the classics. I wouldn't be surprised if they announced like pretty soon that he's going to be at the NHL draft in Nashville, hosting that somehow. I don't know if they have a host for that.
I'm afraid that the NHL is going to try to poach him. NHL Network is going to try and poach him soon. And what I love is that he can't be poached. He's a Tampa Bay guy. I don't think he ever leaves. I mean, I want to see him to grow. Like, go find your star. You know what I mean? Go do your best. But I just think that guy is so Tampa Bay. What, he gets all these other jobs. Just stay here and keep doing those jobs, right? He's our treasure. Don't you try and steal him, NHL.
All right, so should we do some predictions for the Leafs series? Wow. You guys want some stats first?
Well, we haven't even talked about it. This is our last regular season show of the year.
Yeah, we will be going live either during games or after games, post-game shows. Starting next week, no more Monday nights. So make sure you stay tuned. Follow We the Thunder Pod on Twitter, Shooter in the Stash, posted on Thunderbolts as well. So if you want to keep track of where we'll be, most likely right here after games. As some of you know, we started to go live PD style once we were allowed back in the arena in 21. So we might see some of those episodes coming up where we're just kind of on our phones outside the arena. So they get exciting when we get to the playoffs here. And don't forget, when we do make it to the next round, we all do a toast to the team. So it is back on. It's the second season. It is our time. And don't you worry about those losses this week because it didn't really matter.
Yeah, totally. And look, also, I want to say that when it comes down to it, I'll be down there for the Sticks of Fire tailgate. I'm probably going to I am going to be cooking for the first Sticks of Fire tailgate for the first home game. So
game 3.
Yep, game 3. I'll be the special guest chef for the tailgate, pregame tailgate down there. So and we always do things to raise money with those guys too as well. So it's a charity event, it's giveaways, all that thing, and we'll be doing the march to the stadium after the tailgate. So if you ever wanted to know, if you follow me on social media to see all the amazing food that I post, if you ever wanted to taste it, that's your opportunity because I'll be cooking up a storm for that game for sure.
Hey, who do you guys think has a better power play unit statistically this year, the Leafs or the Lightning?
Lightning.
Statistically, the Leafs.
The Leafs are number 3, or no, Lightning are 3. The Leafs are 2. Wow. Just 0.2 percentage points ahead of us in power play percentage. If you look at the penalty kill, though, they do have us beat in the penalty kill. They're at 81%. We're 79.8%, so not far behind them. This is going to be a tight series, I think. As long as somebody doesn't jump out to an early lead, I think it's going to be very back and forth. The most surprising thing I saw while looking at some of the stats was the goaltending stats in Toronto, and this is collectively, right? It's not based on just Fassi, or it might be different, especially looking at Elliott's last 3 or 4
second half of the season.
But altogether, their goaltending has better stats than we do. We score more goals still than they do. So it's going to be a really tight, interesting series to watch. And I just hope it's still the same old Toronto because eventually David beat Goliath. But I totally expect Goliath to come back for the playoffs, and Goliath is the Tampa Bay Lightning. And those teams still remember that.
Talking about here, they tried pulling up a goalie and have him play, and the NHL turned down their emergency exemption because basically they caused their own emergency. So their goalie has to play tonight and tomorrow.
And yet the Bruins have no repercussions for Taylor Hall being healthy and not on the team. Zero repercussions. Zero. Well, hey, what do I know?
But it's weird because everybody always bitches about Toronto gets everything because of the home office being in Toronto, but here they're getting the shaft.
Well, and then I'm forgetting his name, but the guy that played with Montreal, like, they played their e-bug against us. Well, they're going to get what they deserve in a couple of weeks. And he was totally referencing them having to play the Lightning in the first round of the playoffs whenever they pulled up their e-bug against Montreal. So I think Darren Rupp on NHL Network was right. If the Maple Leafs get out to an early lead and win both home games at home, that's their best opportunity to close this series out in 5. I still don't think, when everyone else is Chicken Little and the sky's falling, I still don't think the Lightning are going to lose 3 out of 4 against anybody in the playoffs. But that's the best chance that Toronto has, is to win this series in 5. If it goes to game 6 or game 7, it's over. It's over because they're already in their own heads, and then Bassey gets to take over from there.
So what's your prediction then?
I'm saying the Lightning in 6.
I say the Lightning in 5.
I'll go Bolts in 7.
There we go.
One of us is probably going to be right.
The thing that Tampa has is, we've noticed in the playoffs, is the away games is where they excel at. So,
but not in the regular season this year.
Well, we've actually had a losing record
year, so I don't know if that's going to hold up with this year's.
But in
I
the
don't think they
playoffs, that's where
I don't think they care either.
I will say I think Elliott's played a lot of the road games. Not most, but Elliott's played a lot of those road games where in the last couple of seasons they gave Bassey almost all the games and they allowed him to rest a little bit this year. So I don't think that road record is as indicative to what they're going to play like as most people hope it's going to be.
Yeah, so I think as long as we at least come home 1-1, that's gonna fuel Lightning's fire. If we come down, if we come back 0-2, then it's a little worrisome.
Yeah. My money is still on the Lightning in the playoffs. I still don't think there's another team in the entire NHL that understands what hockey or what playoff hockey is as much as the Lightning do right now. And I mean, sure, wear and tear. They can only play as healthy as they are. Right, we saw it last year without Brayden Point, with a hurt Cirelli, with Stamkos still kind of, I don't know, like not on the line with Killorn because of Hagel, and if you look at the matchups for tomorrow night, I think we're going to see more of an actual playoff lineup with Hagel on the top line, Stamkos on that second line with Cirelli and Killorn. If you have those top 6 guys in the playoffs and Bassey in the back, and I like our defensive pairings like we talked about last week. I like the addition of Radish with Sergachev, and you put Perbix with Hedman like we're looking at right now. I think people are sleeping on our blue line.
Do you guys think we need to win the games this week? Get some momentum going into next week?
I think they want to, because they're trying to solidify these lines. So I think they want to win them, but I don't think it's a need.
I think Coop said what he had to say before. You know what I'm talking about? When it's like, it seemed like they took the game off after he had to say that. But I think they all wanted that. I think like we were talking about, like we were talking about on Saturday when we watched the game together, right? Yeah. They clinched, and then they had 2 days off, with one of them being the Callahan Foundation, then the fishing trip. Then they went to New York, had back-to-back games in New York, which I think that's the first time all season they had back-to-back games in New York, and they're in the city. So they got to go kind of like hang out. We saw they were on social media. It's you don't want your team to mail it in. But again, I just don't. There's no other team that understands the playoffs like the Lightning right now. There's no team currently in the NHL that knows what it takes to win in the playoffs, especially in the Eastern Conference like the Lightning do. Nobody's been consistently as deep over the last 7 years as the Lightning. Nobody.
Deep, no, but Boston's been in there and Pittsburgh's been in there.
First round exits a few times, maybe second round exits. They know what it is to make the playoffs. They don't know what it is to go deep in the playoffs.
Well, a lot of that Boston has won a Stanley Cup.
No, I'm just saying no. Consistently, that's what I'm saying. Consistently, they know how to get there, but how do they come and run it back? These guys are on their last contracts. Bergeron.
They're on their last season.
They're on their last year. Season.
They're not coming
Yeah.
back.
Don't count Pittsburgh. I mean, you still got plenty of them that were on back-to-back cups and have been.
That was 11 years ago, though.
Yeah,
so that's not 2 years ago or 3 years ago. That's 11 years ago.
I know when, but I'm saying they know playoffs. They know what it takes to win.
But I still think contemporary teams that know what it's like to win right now, what it takes to win in this league right now and go deep. We're still the team to beat in the East. We're still undefeated for 3 years in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So that's what I'm hanging my 16 Lightning hats that I have on.
Should have just dropped your mic.
No, hey, I respect my shit way too much to be an asshole and drop it. B, it's also on a stand, slowly, so like I could just pick it up and slam it. I pick up and slam it.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Well, hey, once again, like we talked about the other day, I'm not afraid to disagree with Schoolie, but we'll still be boys in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not saying, listen, I don't think the Pens are going nowhere. You know I'm right, is on here. You guys, I guess Facebook only shows Facebook comments, so you guys can't see these. And that's why sometimes when we do these contests, you guys on Facebook think that you answered first. Now we finally figure out the reason. Facebook cannot see these YouTube comments. So we get to see the comments from any platform we're in, and they put them in order of the way you guys answer it. No way do I think the Pens are going to go anywhere in the playoffs. I was just saying they still have plenty of people on the team that know what it's like to play. Same as Boston. Yeah. Boston, I think if they get Islanders in the first round, they could be one and done also.
That's good. I'm hoping for Islanders to be a wild card too right now. Absolutely.
It's funny though, because we'll probably go through it and go do our brackets or whatever. And you know what? Every year there's one or two series in that first round where it's just like, what just happened?
It's like March Madness. Yep.
So yeah, I'm not counting out any teams in the East. Like I already am putting all my money on the Oilers to make the Stanley Cup Finals because I truly believe that is the only team in the West that is going to take a run at any team in the East.
Vegas, Quick's got a vendetta. Quick's gonna get to the Stanley Cup.
I think the Knights are second, but Connor McDavid, he's all right.
Who else?
All right, so should we go to the OT? Wrap this up for anyone that doesn't know that's out there, maybe listening later. If you watch us live, we go to the OT overtime only on YouTube as I edit the podcast and post it up and
I will
talk more about hockey and maybe more about other things as well besides hockey. We got some stuff to give away too.
Because I do like Dallas. I do think Dallas is kind of a bit of a Lightning in the West where they were leading their division so long and then they knew they were in, and then Colorado got healthy, but Colorado won't be healthy going into the playoffs. They're arguably going to be missing two of their best players going into the playoffs. So I do like Dallas in the West. That being said, do it.
For anybody watching that's not in Thunderbolts, we are collecting money for Points for Paul, which goes to mental illness.
Mental health awareness.
Sarah's asking me update. $1,940.20.
Yeah, I'll be donating. I'm until on Saturday we got busy, but I will be donating. Trust me. If you guys follow me on social media, you know that that's a cause that's very near and dear to me. I struggle with depression, anxiety as it is, and just showing you people help a lot out with that. So I always support that. That being said, here we go. Last show of the regular season. Thank everybody for watching us. Man, I can't even understand how many shows we've done, the three of us together since we started. And now we get to go into a fourth consecutive playoff run together. And it's been so special. And I want to thank both of you guys for being my co-hosts. I want to thank everyone out there watching us. I want to thank Matt from Monkey Cult, SeatGeek for sponsoring us this season as well. It's amazing. It's amazing what this show has done for me, for us, and for everyone else. And Sarah's right. I feel like she was just making the 100th episode. Sure, it's a week ago, and yet it's been over a year, and it's amazing. It's amazing what you guys have done for us, and I can't wait to keep on doing it. It's amazing and it's special to me. So thank you guys and ladies and fans of all walks of life and all persuasions and all beliefs. It's been special. So thank you.
All right. Who wants to win some bar crawl tickets? Let's do it. Random name generator based on the hashtags. Sarah, I guess you're coming to Tampa.
Oh, Sarah, you gonna be able to make it?
You'll be here. She said we're here all weekend.
Yeah, Sarah, let us know. If not, we'll you can re-gift them.
I think she knows the show well enough to know not to enter a giveaway like that if she can't be.
Well, if you heard Greg, I mean, there's reason to stay Sunday too.
So she'll be here.
Good
well, she even said in the comments earlier, if you guys were paying attention while Greg is on, she guessed she has to be here the entire weekend. And I'll be down there too.
That's cool. It's gonna be reunited from the last bar crawl. Serena, me,
right?
Stash, Sarah. No shooter this time, but
hell, the gang's all here.
When
is Shooter ever there?
It's
ever there in person.
It's not going to be as fun as the last one. Probably.
People are going to realize the Shooter is just a bot. He is the new wave of technology. Not
He's
really
AI.
a person. He's just the construct of our own creation.
All right, what are we doing on the overtime?
We're going to talk about the damn fucking Devil Rays on the overtime. That's what
there was something I wanted to discuss, but I can't remember what it was.
All right, well, come to talk about the Devil Rays and come to talk about whatever Thomas Schooley is buried deep down inside.
All right, you're going to get a first big head of the show. We're going to have a cardboard shooter big head, according to Sarah, one of our best shirt makers of all time.
That sounds frightening.
There used to be a cutout of me on popsicle sticks that all the Lightning cheerleader girls were holding outside during the playoffs one year that one of my friends made.
and this is why other fan groups accuse you of being a stalker.
No, I hated it. I took them all away. I was like,
nobody else knows that. Nobody else knows that.
I'm going to send you guys with lollipops with my face on them that you actually can eat. So
I ain't sucking nothing of yours. All right, let's go.
That's a dream come true. That's a dream come true.
This has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder, especially in the playoffs.
Hey, that's it.